The Space Wolves Hall of Heroes in the Fortress of the Fang commemorates countless wolf lords and their deeds. Kyrl Grimblood is one of many great warriors whose names command the highest honour and whose sagas stand as a record of the Space Wolves' most glorious deeds. Even surrounded by such noble companions, Kyrl Grimblood has a special place in the hearts of the Space Wolves, for it was he that saved Fenris in its time of ultimate peril. It was during the long age of apostasy that Kyrl Grimblood came to command his great company, at a time when the Imperium was weak and all hope was drained from the great mass of humanity. For a time it seemed as if the Emperor had deserted mankind, for no one could know that he was fighting his most deadly battle of all within the warp, or that the very existence of humanity was hung by a thread. The Imperium was divided within itself. The Adeptus Ministorum was unable to check the countless heresies that sprang up, some commanding the loyalty of hundreds of worlds and whole imperial armies. Corruption within the Ministorum was rife, and the Adeptus Terra fell to the dictatorship of its most heinous ruler, High Lord Vandire. Repressive purges led to hardship and fear throughout the Imperium. During the Age of Apostasy, many worlds became effectively independent. Such was the extent to which the grip of anarchy had seized the Imperium. The Space Marine chapters stood aghast, while all around them worlds erupted into strife. Most chapters refused to join the Purgers, much to their credit, for their loyalties had always been to the Emperor directly, and their code of honour protected them from the heresies which engulfed the rest of the Imperium. Many chapters took direct control of the worlds close to their homeworld, and restored order as best they could, taking control over such parts of the Imperium as lay within their reach. For many years, these autonomous empires of the various Space Marine chapters were all that held humanity together in the face of attack from aliens and traitors. There were many false prophets in those days, some little more than madmen leading rebel bands, others spiritual demagogues who commanded armies and worlds. The most powerful of these was the apostate cardinal of Galthalamor, Bakaris, whose heresies reached such proportions that they became known as the Plague of Unbelief. Armies fought for him. Sick and depraved individuals gathered underneath his dark banners. Aliens flocked to his court, and the dark gods of chaos doubtless worked their evil under his protection. His armies of fanatical devotees marched across the galaxy, conquering all before them, subjugating one world after another and growing stronger with every fresh conquest. In a single bold sweep, the forces of Bakaris leapt from the distant galactic east to the very heart of the Imperium. It is indeed fortunate for humanity that the path to Earth lay blocked by Fenris. For 3 years, the fanatical armies of Bakaris pounded upon the gates of the Fang. Millions died as the native inhabitants of Fenris fought a protracted war of movement and ambush against the invaders. The Space Wolves could do nothing to break the siege, although they tried many times to penetrate the attackers' lines. Eventually, it was Kyrl Grimblood who saved the Fang. Grimblood's great company had departed from Fenris 5 years before, on a mission into the Eye of Terror. Now he returned just in time, as the besieging forces gathered for the final attack. Grimblood's Space Marines smashed into the rear of the army, scattering tens of thousands into the forests of Azerheim. Driven by hunger, the wolves of Fenris fell upon the fleeing heretics and consumed them. To finally seal their fate, the besieged Space Wolves broke out, and the battle was won. Of those that escaped the Space Marines, none survived the hardships of Azerheim. Grimblood had saved the day, and possibly the Earth itself. It was not the end of Bakaris, whose armies were as numerous as the stars in the sky, but it was a setback. Other heroes would defeat the apostasy on other battlefields. Yet the victory of Kyrl Grimblood would herald the rebirth of a unified and powerful Imperium.